It is Thursday, the 18th day of April 2019. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight. First though, let's have a look at what's making headlines at this hour. In our news tonight, the Supreme Court upholds presidential age limit ruling. Prelate calls for self-respect and service with humility. Nigeria's top judge Walter Onongen to forfeit bank accounts. And in sports, foreign players arrive for Rogue Classic Squash Tournament. Hello there and welcome once again. On sign language is Mogalu Mohammed and I am Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma, and later on in this program we'll be joined by Mr. Sabina Kagwa and we'll be looking at Holy Thursday. But first, the Supreme Court of Uganda has upheld the July 2018 Constitutional Court ruling that endorsed the amendment of Article 102B of the Constitution. The amendment lifted the age limit of the President. Supreme Court justices, led by Chief Justice Bat Katurebe, maintained that the presidential age limit was amended in accordance with the Constitution. However, Justice Eldad Mwangusia contended that amendment of age limit was controversial from the onset. To both applicants and respondents, it was a divergence of views, with the latter expressing satisfaction while their counterparts expressed dissatisfaction. Let's have the highlights of that ruling.
So this is my judgment. I agree with the judgment of my land sister Stella Rachamoko, JSC, which has been read. I agree that the appeal should fail and that each party should bear their own costs. I also agree that the preliminary objections do fail for reasons she has given.
The majority decision of 4-3, the decision of the Constitutional Court is upheld. This appeal, therefore, fails.
It was balanced. Their lordships interpreted the law very, very strictly. And at the end of the day, they confirmed what we have always told the Ugandans, that all we did was within the constitutional limits and there was no wrongdoing that was done. At the end of the day, it is all Ugandans that have won. I want to congratulate all Ugandans. I want to congratulate members of the NRM. I want to congratulate, most importantly, members of Parliament who passed this constitutional amendment, which, as we talk today, is now the law of the land. Congratulations.
It's a sad day, it's a sad moment, and it has this decision has got serious implications on the political stability of this country. It has got serious implications on the political trajectory of this country, and as well, as well as rule of law and constitutionalism.
We thought we were here in the Supreme Court, where we would have a final say in regard to the issue of constitutionalism. Now that even the final court of the land has just put a nail in the coffin, I would say it is the last nail in the coffin, it gives us no option. Well, what we are going to do is to go back to the people for whom we were here, let them understand the magnitude of this case.
It's more likely that I'm going to another court, because I'm saying when you deliver judgment outside time, that is null and void. Themselves, they have acknowledged that I have two authorities in Nigeria and Pakistan. It says when judgment is late, then it's now more likely, because we will not let them to put us in an island that they can determine whatever they want. They can derogate our rights. Then you say people are beaten, and then that's okay. That could be another matter for international interpretation.
They appealed to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has done its job. and he concluded the judgment after due consultation. So to me, as a lawyer, as a citizen, as a Ugandan, I'm so happy. This is the democracy that was ushered in by the NRM. As we talk now, I could see our colleagues were not very happy, but they were very satisfied with the outcome. That's democracy.
Yes, that was the ruling there on the presidential age limit, and of course, different people there giving their views, some divergent. Moving on now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda Armed Forces, has re-emphasized the need for officers and men of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, to be patriotic and appreciate and internalize fully the meaning of patriotism. The President was interfacing with officers and men of the Special Forces Command, SFC, at 10 Marines Battalion headquarters in Entebbe Municipality.
On arrival, the President toured and inspected SFC's facilities as well as the houses that are being constructed at the Marines headquarters. He told officers in particular and all military personnel as a whole that while the old traditional army was filled with tribal arrogance, ignorance, witchcraft, anti-people sentiments, and later became the colonial army serving the interests of the colonialists, the National Resistance Army, NRA, now UPDF, is a liberation army that should embrace patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy.
Ankole is better off with Uganda than without Uganda. And that's why we say, please, Wanange, remember patriotism, loving Uganda.
On job creation, the President explained that the processing of cotton produced in Uganda outside the country meant donation of jobs and value.
So when you hear that people are giving donations, it's rubbish. It is the other way around. They are returning a little bit of what we gave them. But what is serious is that we are donating not only money, $14 per kg. We're also donating jobs.
He, therefore, said that the people of Uganda should work to ensure a reversal of the colonial trend and establish industries in the country to process raw materials into finished products locally in order to fight unemployment and modern slavery of selling our products without adding value. Prior to the interface with SFC soldiers, President Museveni commissioned the new Patients Admission Wing of Dr. Ronald Bata Memorial Hospital on Samizi Hill. SFC runs the facility under the Ministry of Defense. UBC TV, Harriet Nambi.
From security matters to matters now concerning land in the country, where the Commission of Inquiry into Land Matters has discovered that fraudsters are using the bona fide purchaser concept to deprive families a right to own land. Now, this follows the illegal purchase of Block 453, Plot 20 in Wustiro by Primrose Constella Muanga from Jack Wavamno without documentation.
The Commission of Inquiry into Land is still investigating the manner in which Jack Wavamono acquired over 60 acres of land in Intende, Busiro. That was part of the late Kasimbazi estate. This case falls under the terms of reference of the land inquiry.
We are interested in areas that touch upon our terms of reference, which include the effectiveness of the dispute resolution systems. Now, that means that we will listen to and get testimony of information surrounding the way courts deal with the case, but we will not go into the merits of any judgment. So if anybody out there purports to discuss the merits of a judgment as if the Commission was sitting on appeal, they do so of their own accord, and they do not represent what we are investigating here, and I would urge that they desist from that.
The commission discovered that Primrose Muwanga had a motive to grab Block 453, Plot 20 in Busiro.
Claims that this property was fraudulently transferred. What do you think about that?
This, I have been absolutely upfront in telling you how and why I got the property. In 1985, when Mr. Wavamino acquired that property, if he acquired it fraudulently, I have no idea. I didn't even know him then. So I cannot be part of any kind of fraud. Hence my bona fide purchaser.
It also seems the alleged buyer did not visit the contested land before its alleged purchase.
The fact that it exists, I trusted that it existed from the land office.
Commissioner George Wagonza was concerned at how land grabbers are using bona fide purchaser concept to grab land.
It's a pleasant concept when you are a beneficiary, but we should know that what goes round comes round.
In my opinion, I think we need to overhaul our entire land records.
It was brought to Primrose's attention that with no documentation, the transfer transactions with Jakwavamuno were a fraud. Primrose accepted that the contested land had squatters and it was a duty of the purchaser to deal with them.
Whoever is buying will want the squatters off. So you go discuss with the squatters and make sure they get off.
Rose Nakai is an expert in land law.
How much did you pay for it?
73 million.
Do you have a sale agreement?
No.
Now we are going technical. Because plot 453, block 453, plot 20 was valued at more than 73 million, not so? That is why after the sale, after you recovered your money, there was a balance of land which they took.
Revising the notion of bona fide purchasers was recommended by the Commission. The Commission adjourned to May. Sudat Kai, UBC.
Thanks, Kawe, for that report there. Meanwhile, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Ulanya, has emphasized the need to have the Mental Health Act implemented in order to improve on care and treatment for mental health disorders. He was at Butabika National Referral Hospital, where he was on a fact-finding mission on patients with mental disorders, as we hear in this report.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya, has visited the Butabika National Referral Hospital, where patients with mental health disorders are treated. He found out that alcohol and drug abuse topped the list of admitted cases, particularly young people, accounting for 40%. Olanya emphasized the need to have the Mental Health Act implemented in order to improve on the care and treatment for mental health disorders.
Military should have a few of these things. But then you also have these other cases which could have been avoided. Cases of substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and all the things that are coming up and increasing the numbers. Some control system should be put in place. There are laws in place that can help with the narcotics issues, with the substance abuse issues, with the alcohol issues. Probably there are gaps in implementation that we should look at again and see how we can do better. Because some of these things could have been stopped. Some of these, you saw the graduates, fresh graduates from the university, they're here under therapy for alcohol abuse. That should not be happening.
Asked the management of Butabika Hospital to present a written document to Parliament highlighting the urgent needs of the hospital.
I'm going to call the leaders of my committees who are responsible for these sectors, have a discussion with them, because right now they are dealing with the budget issues. There are challenges that are here. Some of them can be addressed immediately, especially the ones that relate to money. Right now we are doing the numbers, figures for the budget. Some adjustments can still be made, so it's not late. My visit has come at a time when it's not yet late to take some actions immediately on the issue of financing. The budget will pass by 30th of May, and I'm hoping that by that day, some of these issues will have been incorporated in the budget.
Olanya's visit to Butabika Hospital also brought a smile to the faces of children with mental health disorders as he handed them Easter gifts.
But all of that is for you?
Yeah. Okay? Yeah. The director of Butabika Hospital, Dr. Defti Basangwa, puts the shortage of doctors and inadequate funding as priorities that need to be addressed. For instance, the hospital has 450 staff, yet it would require 650 staff for better service delivery. Butabika Hospital is allocated 13 billion shillings annually as opposed to the required 24 billion.
That's including wage, non-wage and capital development. But now our proposal is that we get enhanced to 24 billion, mainly increasing in the area of capital development and also maintenance.
There is urgent need to check on the preventable causes of mental illness like excessive consumption of alcohol and drug abuse. Adiana Kute, UBC.
Now, 8 suspects have been arrested and at least 106 boxes containing Government of Uganda labelled human drugs and 99 dead body bags were confiscated last night in joint operation conducted by Uganda National Drug Authority and police in Kampala and its suburbs. The night operation was carried out in Nsangi, Rubaga, Nansana, Chanja and Salama.
The Uganda National Drug Authority and Uganda Police, in a joint night operation in Kampala and suburbs, recovered 106 boxes containing Government of Uganda labelled drugs, 99 dead body bags, and arrested 6 suspects. They will be charged with alleged possession of government drugs. The operation was carried out at night in 8 homes in the areas of Nsangi, Nansana, Lubaga, Chanja and Salama, with 5 homes found with the exhibits and 3 had none. National Drug Authority officials led by Head of Enforcement Samuel Chomokama said that the operation was done as a result of a tip-off from informers.
106 boxes of government drugs.
What kind of drugs?
There are various assorted drugs. Malaria, you can see Rumatem for malaria, I see, and all types of drugs.
If this guy is giving fake products or fake drugs, he can kill a number of people, and some of these products can end up with our children, with our mothers, whether you're a judge or an officer. You can fall victim of such
places that are authorized to hold them. Anybody found in their possession without maybe a valid prescription also will obviously have to be answerable.
The arrested suspects will be prosecuted according to the National Drug Authority statutory laws and regulations. The operation comes barely a week after NDA officials and police confiscated DRC-bound trucks loaded with stolen government drugs. I'm Nafka Farida and Edward Colin Joko in Kampala.
Now, local leaders in Nakawa division have braced for addressing a decline in education levels in the area. Now, more than 20 post-primary institutions attended a career guidance workshop lectured by Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago. Now, the lecture targets enlightening the students on behavioral change.
Because most times these institutions are in the offices, and yet students and youth come from the ground, from the villages. So wanted people like Mackay University, Chambogo, Mubis, Cavendish University, and other institutions like MasterCard, Students Loan Scheme, to come where we are, to come on the ground. The ground is a summary of universities. Here on the ground where we are in the villages, and a summary of all institutions. So I wanted to come and get to interface with the students. You see Kololo SS here, St. Kitts SS, Bishop Spiriano SS, Luzera SS, Butabaka School, they're all here to share, to get information from those offer scholarships, to get information from the service providers as regards teaching universities.
Yesterday we had his Honorable Arias Lukwago. He came to talk to us and he gave us a very inspirational story that inspired us. He told us that he had a lot of hassles as he was growing up, and he gave up on his life, and that's why he failed to become a lawyer in the first place. It took a longer time. This now shows me that I shouldn't give up. I should be very confident. And he told us to have 3 qualities: persistence, tenacity, and passion for anything we want to achieve.
Now on to news pertaining to this very, very important day in as far as Christianity is concerned, where the Catholic Church in Uganda today joined the world to celebrate priesthood. And it's on this day, which is Holy Thursday, when the priests renew their commitment to the Mother Church. Now, during the celebration at Rubaga Cathedral, the Archbishop Kampala, Reverend Dr. Cyprian Kizito Lwanga, called upon the priests to serve God with humility when preaching the gospel. Bishop Lwanga decried the bad behaviors happening in the world today, calling upon the public to emulate Jesus Christ. Details of that in this report.
Holy Thursday is one of the most profound days in the Catholic Church. It celebrates the institution of the Eucharist as a true body and blood of Jesus Christ, and the institution of the sacrament of the priesthood. Here at Rubaga Cathedral, priests are renewing their commitment.
Mwagala okubeera ddala abagabi by'amagulu bya Katonda mu sakramenti y'Eucharistia n'emikolo emirala ejja liturgia n'okutuukiriza omulimu omutukuvu ogw'obuyigiriza obwesigwa Kristu omutwe ate omusumba nga gumusimbye ensolo y'obulamu nga beesigwa nammwe nga batuuse gy'ali.
At the Last Supper, Jesus is the Passover sacrifice, the sacrificial lamb, and the teacher that every ordained priest must follow the same sacrifice.
We are not that God chose us, and we share that priesthood which perpetuates and continues the work which our Lord Jesus Christ started.
Around the world, bishops and the priests come together in their local cathedral on the Holy Thursday morning to celebrate the institution of the priesthood. During the Mass, the bishop blessed the oil of chrisma that will be used for baptism, confirmation, and anointing of the sick, all dying. The Archbishop warns people who sell the blessed oil for money, contravening the law of the ordained priests.
Yeah, I would like to make you aware that the Catholic Church don't sell oils. The practice started here, whereby people sell people oils, saying, buy this oil, which you can use for anointing. In as far as the holy oils are concerned with using the church for entering sacraments, no oil is sold.
During the same Mass, 14 candidates were presented to the church, awaiting to become deacons. Holy Thursday liturgy makes the end of Lent and the beginning of the Sacred Triduum, or the three of the Holy Week: Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. These days are the three holiest days in the Catholic Church. Joseph Buule, UBC, Rubaga Cathedral.
Thanks, Buole, for that report there. Meanwhile, today, Christendom meets to commemorate the notion of Holy Thursday. Now, the day brings Christians in contact with their Savior, Jesus Christ. Believers emulate Jesus Christ by washing the feet of 12 disciples. And as Monsignor Gerald Kalumba, the parish priest of Christ the King, Kampala, says, Jesus performed the final act of service to his disciples following the Passover meal.
Every Holy Thursday in the Holy Week, followers of Christ emulate Jesus Christ by washing the feet of the 12 chosen persons to symbolize Christ's washing of the 12 disciples. Holy Thursday precedes Good Friday, the day Jesus was crucified, and Holy Saturday, the Easter Vigil. This is Christ the King Church in Kampala. During the Holy Thursday, the church celebrated the feast of washing the feet of the 12 men, just as Jesus did before he was crucified.
The ceremony of washing of the feet is done on Holy Thursday, the day on which Christ celebrated his last Passover, the Jewish Passover, with his disciples. But during and at the end of that celebration of the Jewish Passover, Jesus inaugurated his own new Passover. The old Passover was such that people remembered their deliverance from the slavery in Egypt. And that slavery took place by being marked with the slaughter of the lamb and the eating of that lamb and putting the blood of that lamb on their doors.
Before Jesus washed the feet of the disciples, he tied the towel about his waist and filled the basin with water. Then one after the other, he washed the feet of every disciple, except Judas, who had already left the tomb.
Jesus becomes the Lamb of God. Instead of the old lamb which they used to celebrate the deliverance from Egypt, now he becomes the lamb that we used to celebrate our deliverance from sin. And he says, take my body, eat, take my blood, drink. I wash your feet, enter into my Father's house, be clean.
The practice appeared to be rooted in the hospitality custom of ancient civilization, especially where the sandals were the chief footwear. Her host would provide water for guests to wash their feet, provide a servant to wash the feet of the guest, or even serve the guest by washing their feet. Joseph Bule, UBC, Kampala.
Thanks, Bule, once again for that story and, of course, explaining why the Christians' feet are washed on Holy Thursday. And, of course, it's from that story that later on, after this break that's coming up, we shall be looking deeper into what Holy Thursday really means to the Christian community. Stay with us. We'll come back after this short break.
Brought to you by Stack Online has made it possible. Log on to www.stackonlinetradeshow.com.
Hello. Where can we find a mechanic?
That's it.
For what?
That's it.
What happened?
Finished.
You have network here.
You're not on Airtel. For us, we have Airtel 4G everywhere.
Access data anywhere on Uganda's only 100% 4G network. With you always.
Airtel, the smartphone network. For the first time in Uganda, we are launching a virtual online trade show. Can you imagine having a trade show on your PC, on your mobile phone, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? Stack Online has made it possible. Log on to www.stackonlinetradeshow.com or download our app from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Seek, find, trade with Stack Online.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Welcome back from that short break, and you are still watching news here on UBC TV. Now, of course, today was Holy Thursday, and so many Christians thronged different churches to, to celebrate that day. And some of the stories that we've been running there, of course, highlighting the importance of that day. One of them, of course, being the washing of the feet of selected 12 Christians, and of course, signifying Jesus Christ when he washed the feet of his 12 disciples. And to explain further, about Holy Thursday, I'm joined right now in the studio by Mr. Sevina Kagwa. Now, he will explain to you what he does, who he is. But the main thing is we're going to look at Holy Thursday, taking stock of that very day and what it means to Ugandans. Sir, good evening and welcome to News Tonight.
Good evening. Thank you so much for coming here.
Glad to have you here, and of course to explain to the viewer what Holy Thursday is. And of course, this is the first day that is celebrated in the Holy Week. Now, probably so many viewers don't actually understand exactly what Holy Thursday is. Maybe explain to them, the notch of Holy Thursday.
The notch of it was that it was so important to Jesus Christ himself that very day. When we read in the scriptures, which I will not go to open, but in the book of Luke, somewhere it says he told his disciples to go in a city and prepare for that day. They were supposed to feast, to eat certain food and do certain practices according to the Jewish tradition.
Yes.
He commanded Peter and John to go and arrange for that. And they asked him, how are we going to do this? He told them, when you go to the city, you'll find a man carrying a pitcher, and follow him. He'll take you to a large room furnished, and that's where you organize for the feast. And if he asks you, you tell him that the teacher has asked you to show us the room. So it implies that Jesus took time to prepare ahead of time for that. And when they went to the city, they found out actually the things happened.
What exactly Jesus had told them actually happened.
Now, there's a significant verse which says that, in fact, I may read that one for the purpose of the reader. It's in Luke, chapter 22, verse 14. And when the hour came, he sat at table and the apostles with him. And he said to them, I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. So to him, it was important. To them, it was another day of feasting, the Jewish traditional way.
They didn't actually get the magnitude of that act itself.
So he had to explain it to them. To him, he was finishing the course that brought him on earth, which was to show humanity how God really looks and thinks like about us. To teach us God's ways, which were determined for man to live if he was to enjoy a good life, and then to pay for our sin, which was going to happen the next day. So to him, this was like a passing on parade. He had trained these men. Now he wanted them to get the notch of why he had done all that he had done. He came to teach mankind the way to live a good life. Now he was the host. They were the guests.
How about the washing of Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. What does that signify? What does it signify?
Okay. Now, it is signified God's way of, how he wants us to behave as humans. We have to break ranks whenever there is need for service. Now,
probably this was, when I wash someone's feet, my servant's feet, it shows, it really, it's like a demeaning act. However, to Jesus, it meant something different.
It was so important, and this was the reason. He was the host. They were in a guest room. There were no servants, no slaves. According to the Jewish tradition, a slave, not even a Jewish slave, but a Gentile slave, was the one supposed to wash the feet of the guests. Now, they sat, and they realized no one was there to do that for them. And none of them actually was interested in doing it. So Jesus took that opportunity to demonstrate humility and love. He took it on himself. He unwrapped himself, got a basin, filled it with water. They were watching. And he came and washed their feet and wiped them. No one objected. They were enjoying it until he came to Peter. Peter said, Lord, this is no way. You can't do it for me. That. You are too high for that. And said, if I don't do it, what I'm doing, you don't understand. But after I've done it, you'll get the point. So he says, okay, don't wash me just the feet, but the whole body. But he says, no, you have already done ceremonial washing. This is the only thing that a slave does, and no one is doing it. So he washed Peter's feet. And then finally he says, you see, you call me master. I'm the highest amongst you, but I have washed your feet. So I'm teaching you, don't ever consider this to be a menial task for somebody who is lowest amongst you. Humility. He who thinks he's the boss can do that. Humility indeed. Humility.
But can that one be practiced today in our modern Ugandan modern society? And also, Mr. Sewina, what should Christians expect from the action of Jesus Christ when washing? Partly you've just answered that, but as Christians today, what should we expect from that act of Jesus Christ washing his disciples' feet?
I would say directly grace. God resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. So it was a lesson not to practice every Thursday before Easter. It was a lesson for you to incorporate it in your mind that when you wake up, are you married?
Oh, yes, I am.
Yes. Now, it's not a bad thing for you when your wife is tired and you go and wash the cups.
Exactly. Actually, it's even as a Christian, you should do that.
Make the bed. It doesn't belong to the female, kind. Even men can do that. So it's a practice of humility that when it comes to a need that needs to be serviced, you should not consider yourself that you are above that.
Very, very valid point there.
That is a practical way of living. It's not what we do. We demonstrate this humility on Easter. That's easy to show. But if you wash my feet as a congregant, but you cannot do it to your wife, then it is a fast. You are just pretending. He wants us to live it in a practical way. It was a lesson for that day and continuously.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sewina Kagwa. And of course, I'm just learning a lot of things today, and probably even the viewer there. Holy Thursday, it comes every year and it goes. But do you understand what it really means? And one thing that you should get from this interview, it's all about humility. Can you humble yourself to the lowest level? If you're higher than the person that you're serving, can you go to that lowest level and serve that person? Marrieds, you've just heard it from Mr. Kagwa that you can do something that is unexpected. You can do the dishes. It's not all about you being the boss in the family, but it's all about humility. Thank you so much for having been part of this news, and we thank you for this explanation, delving deeper into what Holy Thursday is. And we'll now be taking a very, very short break, and we'll be returning with what's happening in the world of business. Stay with us.
Brought to you by Stack Online has made it possible. Log on to www.stackonlinetradeshow.com or download our app from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Seek, find, trade with Stack Online.
Back, let's now have a look at what's happening in the world of business, where the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has launched an integrated bank of projects. Now, government expects to improve public investment in Uganda through its implementation. Let's get more in this report.
The Integrated Bank of Projects is an online system managed by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. It will act as a central depository for all public projects and enable tracking of the development projects.
So it's going to be a very big revolution in the management of public affairs, especially with respect to the project cycle management. The development of the system was through the technical assistance from the British government and the World Bank.
Approximately 50% of the financial year 2017-2018 budget is allocated to public investment, and nearly 40% is financed by donor loans and grants. The Finance Ministry has developed the first phase of the Integrated Bank of Projects with a team of consultants from Cambridge Resources International.
One, to recap, it will store information on public investment projects. It will also work as a workflow management tool, but also improve institutional coordination. 4, reduce time spent on project preparation and submission.
It will cover the project development phase of the public investment management system cycle, such as concept, profile, pre-feasibility and feasibility stages.
It will also help map the project where it's going to be located in order to show the broad development agenda for the government across the country. It will also be able to integrate all projects in government in one single system.
IBP is expected to achieve the following: act as a database of projects, enhance workflow management and procedural compliance software, promote accountability, strengthen public investment analysis and planning, and enhance measurement of results, among others. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Brought to you by Stack Online has made it possible. Log on to www.stackonlinetradeshow.com or download our app from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Seek, find, trade with Stack Online.
Moving further afield, we go to Nigeria, where Nigeria's Chief Justice Walter Onogen has been convicted of falsely declaring his assets after failing to reveal the money he held in foreign bank accounts. The tribunal said he would have to forfeit the money in the 5 accounts. Now, his suspension over the charges by President Muhammadu Buhari in January, weeks before the presidential election, caused a political storm. Mr. Buhari was accused of meddling with the judiciary in the case. The outcome of the election was challenged in court. Now, the tribunal did not say how much money was in the 5 foreign accounts. Justice Onogen has also been banned from holding public office for 10 years. He has not commented on the tribunal's ruling. Sports news now, and we begin with squash, where some of the world's best squash players are in Uganda ahead of the Rock Classic International Open Tournament to be hosted in Tororo District. Now, the cast includes Nigerians, South Africans, Zimbabweans, Kenyans, Tanzanians, and an Englishman who seems to be the player to beat at the 3-day event. John Ban Sentamu reports.
All is set for the first ever International Open Squash Tournament to be contested at an up-country venue in Uganda. Tororo's Rock Classic Hotel is the lucky venue for this weekend's Rock Classic International Tournament that has attracted more than 100 local and foreign players. The most pronounced of the foreign entries is England's Tom Ford David, who explains why countries like Uganda lag behind others.
In Europe, the game has been played for much longer in Europe, so generally there are more players, more coaches. So the standard is higher purely because there are more players and they've had more access.
Zambia's Kenny Mwape also chips in on what Uganda must do to ensure it improves.
Africa is quite big, Zambia is quite big, Uganda is a bit, I haven't seen a lot good, they've got good players here in Uganda, but they just need to put it more in. They need more juniors from schools and from even townships. They need to bring more juniors.
Others in Uganda for this tournament are Gaba Abdur, Kevin Glovo, Ahmed Azim, Sufuso, Manda Chambo and Tendamboti. The Ugandan caster will be led by Michael Kawoya and includes Samuel Chagulanyi, Kadoma Kasirye and Owen Agaba. There will also be a women's category in which Ugandans like Pauline Agaba, Jane Nabanova and Vivian Nakabiri will tussle against the foreign cast, led by the Zambian duo of Musa Diana and Christine Abigail. The tournament, at which the top player in each gender bags $1,500 will also honor the Kabakar of Buganda, a renowned squash player with a belated birthday cake. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Now, the future of Uganda's sports largely depends on two things: infrastructure and talent development. Now, these two aspects have now received a major boost from the Indian Association of Uganda that has sponsored a junior chess tournament and committed to develop all aspects of sport in Uganda, as we hear from John Barnes, Sentamo.
After toiling through the ranks until her woman FIDE master title, Christine Namaganda believes that all emphasis must now be on the juniors to enable them grow steadfast in the game of chess. It's the reason she chose to organize the Dove Easter Junior Chess Championships to be hosted at Nobview Hotel.
We try to share liba tetwazanya tournament zaberanga ntono chovula kati esi atuyitadde ku baana abato bafune exposure baberenga bazanya bali so active we banatukira waggulu bajja kuba already bamanyi ekyokukola nga bamanyiridde okuzanya.
More than 200 players are expected at the tournament that has been boosted by the Indian Association of Uganda, which reiterates its continued support towards sport in Uganda.
We have identified Uganda has a lot of talents, which was not given enough support. So we, as an Indian association, our CSR activity, corporate social responsibility, we have decided, because we are doing heart surgeries, we are doing blood donations, we are doing medical camps, free medical camps, but that is for the people who are affected. Now we wanted to support who are upcoming. Yeah, so that is the reason we have decided to support all the sports in the country.
The tournament that starts on Friday will feature competition in both genders for players starting at 8 years, with the highest players being below 20. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
And that sports report brings us to the end of this bulletin. But before we leave you, let's have a quick reminder of our top stories. In our news tonight, Supreme Court upholds the presidential age limit ruling. Prelate calls for self-respect and service with humility. Also in the world, Nigeria's top judge Walter Onogen to forfeit bank accounts. And in sports, foreign players arrive for Rock Classic Squash Tournament. And that's all we had time for. Thank you so much for having kept us company, and it's always a pleasure for you to make UBC TV your channel of choice. On sign language, it has been Mogalu Mohammed, and I am Edward Rukidi Kijanongoma, wishing you a very blessed evening and happy Easter to all of you.
Was brought to you by UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.